Well, hello and welcome to a virtual tour of St. Andrew's Church on this Remembrance Week. Remembrance is a special time of year when we remember those who've died, and it all leads up to 2 minutes of silence, which many people in the country stop whatever they're doing, whether they're at school or work or at home, and they stop at 11 a.m. on the 11th of the 11th month. And they observe 2 minutes of silence. Now, some of you probably know why we stop at 11 a.m. on the 11th of the 11th. And if you don't know why, that's a good question to ask your teacher or look up when the assembly finishes. But here at St. Andrew's, we do lots of things to remember people all year round, but especially, I guess, at this time of year. And one of the ways that we remember people in this church is through this sort of memorial plaque. A long time ago, people used to put special stone plaques, maybe with some fancy scroll work, some fancy artwork, to remember people who had been really important in the community. And this plaque here remembers Reverend Buick Bridge, who was a vicar here at St. Andrew's. Now, some of you are watching this in a school named after Buick Bridge, and maybe you thought that this was a bridge, but actually Buick Bridge was a real person. And he worked here, and he worked at the University of Cambridge as well. And he was remembered for his benevolence, cheerfulness, kindness, and fervent piety. You can come and see this in our church. There are many other memorial plaques which help us to remember people who've died perhaps a long time ago. And we have those all over the church and the church floor. Nowadays, we tend to do other things to remember people when they die. And Reverend Ruth is going to show you one of those things now.
Another way that we have of remembering is shown in the banner that we have here. So last year we invited people to come and tie a ribbon on the railings outside the church. It was in the height of lockdown, and when we were remembering, we were in the middle of the COVID crisis, and we invited people to come and tie a ribbon to remember those who had died of COVID. But also, actually, it became a place where people came and tied a ribbon for anyone that they had loved who had died. And we then ironed all these ribbons and then wove them into this big patchwork, just to show how we are all woven together, and that God, in fact, is in amongst all of that weaving and still with us, and with those who have died and with us who are still living. And so we've created this banner to remember them.
So here we have a special way of remembering those who died in war. And there are lists here of people who died in the First World War, the Second World War, Iraq and Afghanistan, fighting for their country. And on Remembrance Sunday, we come around this part of the church. Somebody plays a trumpet, and we hold 2 minutes of silence here, and we lay a wreath, a poppy wreath, and a new wreath we lay every year to remember those who died in war.
So one really popular way that we remember people who've died is to light a candle, symbolizing the light that they brought into our lives, but also that we believe that they are now in the light of Christ. So many people come to church to light a candle, and sometimes they also come to find the names of family members in our memorial book. This book contains the names of lots of people who are buried in our churchyard, and they're written week by week, the week that they died, and we remember them in our prayers here every week. So we're going to light some candles now to remember the people we love who have died. And we're going to thank God for their lives and the light that they brought us. Perhaps you'd like to join us by imagining yourself lighting a candle for someone you love who has died. going to light this candle for my grandparents, Donald and Kathleen, and Ruby and George.
And I'm going to light this candle for my grandparents, Zarahui and Shumavun, and Clara and Peter. And I'm going to light this candle for my good friend Wanda, who died, and this candle for my good friend Katie, who died.
Let's say a prayer. Lord, in this season of remembrance, help us not to forget those who have loved us and helped us on our way. Thank you for the way that they live on somehow in us. Help us to trust that they also live on in your love. Help us to find creative ways of remembering. Amen.
So one final way of remembering that we have here at St. Andrew's is a special Remembrance Sunday service that we hold every year. And if you are in a scouting or guiding unit, you may have already been to one of our Remembrance Service Sunday services. So at this service, we always end with the national anthem. And so we're going to end our assembly today with the national anthem, God Save Our Gracious Queen. And if you don't know the words, I'll say them very quickly, and perhaps you'll just be able to join in when I play. So, God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us, God save the Queen. This is a song really asking God to keep the Queen alive as long as possible. And since our Queen is now 95, I think we all need to be singing this year. So do join in if you can. Please stand wherever you are and join in the national anthem.